Assalamu alaikum and welcome to ICT Year 7. In the last lesson we studied a little bit about the data types. We've learned about 3 data types so far. We've had the integer. Integers are basically numbers such as -5, -4, -3, 0, 5 and 7 and so on. And then we learned about float data type, which is basically numbers that has decimal parts such as 1.234 minus 0.023 and so on. The last data type that we spoke about or we learned is string, and string is basically text like usernames, variable names, spouse name, whatever text that contains ABCs. The data type is called string. In today's lesson, we are going to add more data types to learn about in Python. The fourth one is the first one for today, and the fourth one of all is list. List refers to a collection of data which are normally related. Instead of storing these data as separate variables, you can store them as a list. For instance, suppose our program needs to store the age of 5 users. Instead of storing them as user 1 age, user 2 age, user 3 age, and so on, it makes more sense to store them as a list. To declare a list, you write the list name, just like any other data type or a variable. You type the variable name and then the initial values in between a square bracket. We need to remember that. We use square brackets when we are declaring a list data type. So let's go ahead and open Python, the IDLE. This will open the shell, and then from there we're going to start a new text file. Again, file, new, and then let's declare a list. Alright, so I'm just gonna go ahead and grab any example like football scores. Remember that the variable name mustn't have a space, and then we're going to type a square bracket, and then we're going to type the variables. Notice that when you type the variables, there should be a comma right after each and every variable, and then a space. Okay, so that is what we're going to do. The first score is 3, space, 4, space, 2, space, and let's type 7 and close the square bracket and then press enter. Now we need to print that out to make sure that it's working. Print football score. Just remember that variables names are case sensitive. That means if you wrote F in capital, you have to call it here in capital as well. And when we are calling a variable, it must be in between brackets this way. So let's make sure that I didn't make any mistakes. File, save. This one is called football fb.py and enter. Now I'm going to run the program. Run module, and there you go. It is successful. That is how you declare a list and print it out. The second data type that we're going to learn about today, which is the fifth of all, is called tuple. Tuple are just like lists, but you cannot modify their values. Okay, it's just like list, but whatever you write inside that list, it cannot be modified. The initial values are the values that will stay for the rest of the program. An example where tuples are useful is when your program needs to store the name of the month of the year. For example, January, February, March, April, May, June, and so on. Those values are fixed. You cannot change the first name of the month of every year, right? It's going to be January all the time, right? The second month is February. So we use tuple to store several values in a list that cannot be changed. And where is the difference between tuple and list? This is a question. Where is the difference? Well, when you are declaring a tuple, you have to write the tuple name equals, and then the values in between, round brackets. Remember, in lists we used to use square brackets. To tell Python that this is a tuple, you need to use round brackets. So let's go ahead and try it. I'm gonna go back to my text file here. I'm gonna delete this, and I'm going to use day of the week, maybe day of week equals. Now I have to type a round bracket, and then
Sunday, for example, comma, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
now I'm going to close the round bracket, and over here, well, the difference as well is that I have to type each and every one in quotes, double quote actually. So this is the first one,
This is the second one, and this is the third one. I'm going to continue doing this till the end, until I reach to all of my values. Again, Friday in between double quotes, Saturday,
and we're done here. Now we want to print them out. And remember, print does not have equal. All you have to do is call the variable by its name and put it in between round bracket. Let's try this out and see if I made a mistake. I'm going to save the same file and run. And there you go. So that is how you declare a tuple, which is our fifth data type of all. Our last data type is called dictionary. So this is the last type of the data type, okay? Dictionary is a collection of related data, pairs, we call them pairs. For instance, if you want to store the username and age of 5 users, you can store them in a dictionary. So what you can see over here, this is how we declare a dictionary. You give it a name, equals, and then this time we're going to use this type of brackets. And this type of brackets, we call it curly brackets. Curly brackets. Just notice that we've studied so far in this lesson, we've studied 3 types of data types, and they all use brackets, but the difference is the type of the brackets that we use. And this time in the dictionary we use curly brackets. So this is the variable name, equals, curly bracket, and again this is the username in between double quote, and then colon, and then the age. Probably this is definitely this is your first variable, which contains username and age, and then you have to separate them with a comma, and then again double quote, username, user age, and then comma, username, user age. The username and user age are separated by a colon, and the username is in between double quote. So let's try this out. I'm gonna go back to my text editor, delete this, and I'm gonna try and type the variable name. So I'm going to say ABC. You can type whatever name that you have, equals, and then the curly brackets, and there they are. You have to press the shift to get the curly brackets, and then double quote, Mudathir, colon, 100. Did I close the double quote? No, I didn't close the double quote. So close the double quote, and it's not semicolon, it's colon, and then the age, and then comma, and then start typing a different name, Mohammed, close the double quote, colon, and then an age, 50 for example. Let's try this out. Let's try calling this print ABC. Yeah, I forgot to type the variable name in between. So again, whenever you make changes, file, save, run module, and there you go. It printed everything out. See, if you try to do this with any other data type, the list or the tuple, it won't work, because the list saves one number and the tuple saves one value that cannot be changed. But here you can save 2 values in one space. Got it? So guys, let's review this out. The first data type that we studied for today is it was list. okay, and we use square brackets to declare the list variables, just like we did over here. And the second type of variables that we studied for today was tuples, and in tuples we use round brackets, just like here. Just remember that the values that you enter in tuple they cannot be changed, okay? The values that you enter in tuple cannot be changed. And the last data type that we learned for today was dictionary. And the dictionary, like, how is it different? We use curly brackets, and in dictionary you can store two values in one space. Unlike list and tuples, in dictionary you can store, for example, a username and an age. Well, that is it for this lesson. I hope you guys understood and enjoyed it. Till I see you in the next lesson, take good care. Bye.